Getting ready to reload up a bunch of 30-06. Gonna be using H4350. That one has proved to be a very good powder for that particular rifle. When I first started loading, we used the Pacific powder scale. Now, if I remember my history right, Pacific was a big name back in the day, and then Hornady bought them out. Its origins trace right back to this Pacific. You fill this reservoir with oil. The principle behind it is you get your scale weights and you place them on here. Then you move these nuts back and forth until it balances out with the proper weight right in the red line. And you fill this up, and it has served us well for many, many years. This particular Pacific scale has loaded thousands and thousands of rounds and has enabled me and my family to shoot happily together for decades. Not to be ungrateful, but I found this little gem right here. Now this little scale, it's the Hornady GS 1500, nice affordable price scale. It comes in a really nice box, easy to open, it's magnetic on the lid. Comes with its own 100-gram scale so you can check it, and instruction manual, which you probably don't need to read because it's pretty self-explanatory how to use this thing, and it comes with the instructions right there on the case lid. I still use this. I use this to double check my other digital scale and do other things. This was worth every last penny. I would buy this again. Now, as you can see, expertly engraved is the weight in grains of this tray. And just in case you're wondering, I have checked it on the other scale and I actually got it right. I'm as surprised as you are. Now, this is the reason why I know that my wife loves me. Here we have the RCBS Charge Master. This thing has been fantastic and has been a great addition to my reloading tools. And I have to say, this has been one of the greatest impacts in reloading for me. So this one is pretty sweet. The only thing that I don't like about it, and it's not really that I don't like about it, it's more that something I don't like about myself, is if you forget to close that or to check it before you powder in, you can dump a whole lot of powder all over the place in a jiffy. So anyway, if you do get one of these, just make sure you always close that. You'll notice it'll tell you the same thing in the instruction manual. Apparently, some of us are slow learners. I like to make sure there's no stray grains underneath there of powder or any type of debris. And then I always like to calibrate. So after you turn it on, I've got mine set to reading grains. You can have it set to read however you want that. You can hit calibrate. It's gonna say 0. I'm gonna say yes, 0. Then I'm gonna find my, because with two 50-gram weights, and I'm gonna place that on there. Hit calibrate. Then I'm gonna take the other 50, place that on there. Once that's stable, hit that again. Now it knows what it's supposed to be reading, and I like to do that just as a safe check. I've yet to have it read anything that was out of line or out of tolerance. So now that I got all my checks and balances done, time to start loading. So I'm gonna go 53.6 grains. Yep, that one right there. So now we zero that out so that it's not taking the weight of the 136 grain tray into play. And then we just come up here, we type in 53.6, verify that's what that is down here. Then we come up here and just hit dispense. Now what I found is the first 2 or 3 of these, it's learning the charges and it's learning the speed at which the powder trickler is going to work and dispense this powder and how much comes per turn. I think that's what it's doing because it does it just a little differently with all powders. And the first charge or 2, it takes a little while longer. Now what I like to do is on these first couple charges, I like to pour it in and just re-verify that everything's okay. So right here, I've got 53.7 grains, and so that's within the 1/10 of a grain that I'm looking for. I'm gonna call that good. You're real careful. Now you can see here we got a full cartridge or fully loaded with powder, and we have an empty. The nice part about this, unlike the 38 Special, you're not gonna be able to get a double charge in there, because if you do, it's just gonna spill all over. Not that I've ever done that before, but it is a self-correcting problem. Put this back onto the scale. it starts to trickle the powder back in. You'll notice the first, 50 some odd grains until it gets in with about a half a grain goes pretty quick. As you can see, it gets up to 53.2 grains and it slowly starts to trickle so that you can keep it accurate. And it beeps to tell you it's done. Let's check it one more time. 53.6 grains. All right, Bluefish, we'll put it in the bullet.
Yep.
Okay, you want to put a new bullet on there and move that funnel?
Yep.
Look at that. It's coming right in where it needs to be. So right there is what a nice little double charge looks like. Nice part about this, it didn't take that much effort to get those charges. When I was doing it by hand, using my little A&W mug and teaspoon right here, and you double charge it, that was a lot of work that just went down the drain. So I'm just gonna take this, drop it back into the hopper, and start again. As this creeps up to 53.6, it beeps when it has the weight, tells you that. When it's done though, it continues to tell the weight. So on the last charge, I didn't get it on film, but it was actually at 53.8. So I just take that, drop it right back into the hopper, set that back down, and it measures it again for me. So what I've got here, I've got 10 cartridges all loaded up. I probably should have started this timer on the last one, but this should give you a rough idea of how long it takes to do the remaining amount of cartridges there. So I've got my charge of 53.6 grains right here. I'm gonna start the stopwatch. And we're gonna see what it takes to do the remaining cartridges for this tray. This tray holds 40 cartridges if you go every other one, or 80 cartridges if you do a cartridge in each slot. Okay, yeah, pour it in. Oh, that points out something. If you tap that, the grains on the end can come out. So what we end up with is a inaccurate charge weight. Don't want to lose one speck of powder, do we?
No.
Especially nowadays, right? As soon as that zeroes out, then that thing will start back up again. Sometimes it seems to just hit the sweet spot faster than others. So when you pick that up, you want to pull it straight out, and then you pour it in. The nice part is once you set it there, it knows to start again. So now, these bullets here, I don't know how old they are, but definitely don't make boxes like that anymore. Just got a few remaining of these 180 grains. I believe this is from the late 60s. So I got a few of these oldies but goodies. I'm gonna load them up, and they're gonna be my special rounds. So some of the safeties that are built into this, look, it's not going to stop you from doing an overcharge, but it is going to give you indicators. First off, it gives you the charge weight of how much powder is in the pan. So you need to be checking that as you're doing this. The other thing, if you'll notice right here, it gives you an indicator that it's over. It also tells you, so you know you're looking for 53.6, and it comes in at 54.8. Now, I purposely did that. Just grab that. Back into the hopper, come back here, reset it, and it'll start over again. You'll notice currently it says under with the arrow. But these are just all little tools to help you be safer and more accurate in your reloading. As I was watching it come out of the trickler, there just was a kind of a large conglomeration of the extruded powder, and so it went and made a micro adjustment and a bunch dumped into it. So once again, as we just discussed, it tells you the weight of it. So right now I already know it's over. It also has an arrow indicator. So I'm just going to dump that back into the hopper and restart. So I just filled that up. We're at 37 minutes, and that was with a little bit of extra help. So using this, if you've got everything set up and ready, probably a little less than a minute per round. I'm guessing you're probably around 40 something seconds per round. Like I said, that 37 minutes or whatever that was for 30 rounds, that was including having helpers and dealing with other issues and challenges that come up when you have little fish running around. If you got any questions or you want to see anything else, let me know and we'll see what we can do. And then you're gonna put, then you're gonna start over.